Ah, SEO, the catch-all grab bag of marketing concepts. Don't understand something? Must be SEO related. Site not bringing in any revenue? Gotta be an SEO issue. What do our parents keep telling their friends we do? SE, something with computers. No matter how much we try to explain, all marketing is not SEO, and vice versa. The reason marketers put so much stock into SEO is because your ability to show up in the search results can absolutely make or break your website. Every time Google launches a new update, panic washes over the marketing world like a wave crashing onto the shore at Normandy, which happens to be another popular topic at the old folks' home. Today on Marketing is Broken, JLH marketing agency founder Jenny Hallis tells us how Google's latest EAT update will affect your search rankings, and how this shift is just another step in Google's journey to make its results more focused, current, and helpful. Welcome back to Marketing is Broken, the weekly marketing talk show where smart people explain things so I don't have to. I'm your host, Josh Brodden, and today we'll be tackling Google's latest favorite acronym, EAT. No, Google hasn't gotten better at recommending restaurants. EAT actually stands for expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. Three factors the search engine giant is weighting more heavily than ever when it comes to ranking search results. Essentially, the thought is that Google judges your website by 1, how useful your content is, 2, who you are as an authority, and 3, whether other trustworthy websites link to or reference your site. So in order to be trustworthy, you have to be trusted by other sites that were deemed trustworthy before you. Somehow this is an algorithm and not a Ponzi scheme. The update was mainly aimed at lowering the search rankings of dubious medical and health-related sites. You know, like from those sidebar banner ads, soccer mom burns off 15 pounds of belly fat in just 3 minutes a day. Not exactly the New England Journal of Medicine, is it? Google knows that sites like this spread misinformation and can even cause harm to users, so it's working harder to bury bad content. Like your grandparents buried their post-World War II PTSD. Honestly, Google has always made decisions about what's best for us behind the scenes. They're just making it official now. But as you know, sometimes Google gets it wrong. So what steps do we, as genuinely trustworthy content producers, need to take to ensure Google doesn't lump us in with the fat-burning soccer moms? To answer that tricky question today, we've got Jenny Hallis, founder and resident SEO expert at JLH Marketing. Jenny will share a few tips on how to create EAT-friendly content without needing to be an SEO expert, or an expert in whatever your parents think you do. Oh, and in case you're wondering how soccer moms burn off their fat, by the way, it's a literal burn. 3rd degree, very serious. Real quick, what's the easiest way for people to understand expertise, authority, and trust as Google defines it?
I think that is really the tricky question, right? They are very esoteric concepts, and there's been a lot of hullabaloo about what constitutes each element of this within the search community. The bottom line is we do not know.
Okay.
We do not know for sure. Google hasn't told us for sure. We can only postulate. But I will say that I think that some of the roads that other SEOs are going down are fraught with trouble. Um,
Okay.
Specifically,
In
the
what way?
idea of building consensus, and that Google is looking to kind of not necessarily fact check, but provide the scientifically backed recommendation or the medically backed recommendation on a particular topic. We're not seeing that in the search results, first of all. We're
Mhm.
still seeing some really questionable sites coming up tops for certain queries. And then the other element of it is that it requires a level of sentiment analysis, which is something that all of the search engines, all of the social media companies have tried and tried to to somehow productize, somehow bring down to an algorithmic level and have failed.
Sure.
Um, so I don't think that it's unreasonable to think that maybe Google doesn't have that locked yet either.
So how does an EAT score lead to better search results? And then based on that score, or just the idea of it, what flaws or shortcomings do you see, and how it may help or hinder how search engines are supposed to work for users?
So a couple of things with that. First off, there is no such thing as an EAT score as far
Okay.
as we know.
Okay.
Google has emphasized that expertise, authority, and trust are very important to them. They are part of the quality raters guidelines, but they are not specifically mentioned as a ranking factor anywhere. So that's just kind of something that I think people need to get through their heads, that it is not a ranking factor necessarily. Um, Also, all of this is being done by computers. I mean, even machine learning computers still need inputs.
Hmm.
And so it makes sense to think about what are the type of inputs that would generate the appearance or the illusion of expertise, authority, and trust. And both how could those be collected and how could those be gained? Because Google's always going to be thinking about trying to keep things from being gained.
Right.
Um, and also, they're not going to go and reinvent the wheel. So people should look to things like Google News guidelines, YouTube guidelines, existing search engine guidelines, Google's patents that they've filed.
So yeah, that's really fascinating. And so, thinking about how people or brands should factor the idea of EAT into their marketing practices, I'm hearing you say it's not necessarily like some sort of a quid pro quo where you can do this tactic and increase, a certain score and you'll get X amount percent further. It's more of a maybe more of a mentality or just a philosophy for marketing and for content publication that doesn't maybe have any real search engine ranking factor impact at this moment. Is that kind of what I'm hearing? And if so, how should people think about increasing their expertise, authority, and trust online?
I think it's a really good way to put it. And my keynote at State of Search is actually going to be your search diet, how not to overeat. And the crux of the talk is that having a good website, having a healthy website is very similar to being healthy in your life. So everything in moderation. Don't overdo any one element. Understand that you can exercise all day long, but if you continue to eat, you know, bottles and bottles of Pringles, you're not going to lose any weight. And
Sure.
you're going to hurt your heart. Similar to if you go out and you focus only on links, then you're going to miss out on other things, maybe that would help you gain better reputation. And so it's really about the overall health of the organization and whether that organization is something that Google feels like they're visitors to the search engine who are doing these queries, are they going to get something that is trustworthy? Not necessarily right. And I think that's the key, right? Is especially with medical, um, there sometimes are no right or wrong answers. But what's important is that you put it forward with, okay, this is not medically backed, but um, a lot of observational evidence indicates that this might be something you might want to try if you're completely out of options. Autoimmune
Sure.
disorders, for example. People, doctors don't know how to solve those. So people have to try anything that they can, and what works for some people doesn't work for others. So I think that Google's purpose in this is just making sure that it's very clear. So it's not that you have to have every paper cited by X number of think tanks or NHC uh, articles or studies or whatever. It's that you have to be very clear about what it is that you're putting forward.
Perfect. Perfect. That makes a lot of sense. So what you're saying is that just like in real life, there's no magic pill for SEO, and there's a little bit more nuance to it. Jenny Hallis, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Josh.
Thanks for being here, Jenny. Whew, I'm stuffed. Stuffed full of knowledge, that is. Maybe I'll even publish a new post explaining the difference between SEO and marketing for my parents' friends in 37-point font. Hey, it's Josh from Brandish Insights. Thank you for watching Marketing is Broken. If you like this week's episode, please click below to subscribe or check out other episodes. And if your company could use more insights around your branding efforts, check out brandishinsights.com.